This is how this could possibly be unfair to either party in a relationship. You have a person who absolutely needs to be organized to the point where they say it's obsessive. You have a person who is go with the flow and who gets exhausted by tasks. So that means the thing that helps her cope is the thing that drives me crazy. And the thing that makes me feel safe is the thing that drives her nuts. How do you make that work? Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Sit Down Talk. My name is Kier.
And I'm Noémie.
And we welcome you. Clap it up for you for being here today. It's been quite some time.
We have a new person here.
It's been a very long time since the last time we posted an episode. We have a new member of the squad here. If you've been following us on Instagram, she's very excited to be a part of this family. Okay, so life has been absolutely crazy. Thank y'all for sticking with us. If this is your first time here, welcome. This is a weird episode to start off.
It really is.
But we're glad you're here. Go back and look at the old videos so you can understand who we are and why we look so tired. If you are a repeat offender, man, what's up with y'all? How your mama and them? How's everybody doing? We've been reading the message. Y'all been on our ass about another sit down talk, and we heard y'all, so here we are. Sit down talk feels awkward after not doing it for a while.
It does. It really does.
It's like catching up with a friend who you ain't seen in a minute. You don't really know what to say.
But it always turns out great. Like, it's always like that weird, like, how do you start it off? And we're going to get right into the real stuff because that's what we always do.
What this entire episode is about today, it's about life.
Yeah.
And where we at. And it comes from a conversation we had the other night.
We've always been really big on showing you guys like what we're going through and how we've kind of maneuvered our way through it. And one of the comments that we always get is that we always seem to be so aligned in where we are. Well, let me tell you something. We are not right now. And not even in a bad way. I just think that with our business changing, this one coming into our lives, and just things being different, we've noticed that we're struggling with different things. I don't want to say in our marriage because it's not so much in our marriage, but I guess it's just the way that life looks like to us. Our priorities have changed so much and we're trying to find our way back to what our center is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I think it is in our marriage though, because it's not like the marriage is the problem. It's just in our individual lives and it funnels down to the marriage. Kind of like a river going to the sea. She's just busy on switch.
Yeah.
I think she want to stand up.
She does.
If you can, just try not to let the baby distract you. I know it's really hard. See, look. We failed first test right there.
Well, you were saying that you do feel like it's become an issue with our marriage. How so?
Oh, yeah, because it's an issue in our individual lives. Like, it's impossible for something to affect our individual lives and not somehow channel back to the marriage.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Nah, I wasn't gonna say nothing else.
I was gonna say that, like, in past videos, we've always talked about compartmentalizing our emotions and how important that is to a successful marriage.
Why she do that?
I don't know. But why that's so important to a successful marriage. But I think that we do often have times where we're unable to do that, or just like the logistics of your relationship, whether you're married, whether you're co-parenting, whatever, the logistics of your relationship do not lend itself to compartmentalize. Our business is
Not
our
for
family.
real.
Not for real. I think striving to compartmentalize so that the negative doesn't bleed from one situation to another is important. But to compartmentalize, to take away the stressors of one thing from another, it just, I don't know if that's a thing. I think that's a cute idea, but it hasn't been a thing for me.
Different sugar, but it all hit the same cavity.
Listen, but for me, I think that's been the toughest part, is us kind of connecting on what those triggers and what those stressors are. Like, for me, my family, and especially like this one, even though I don't sleep, I still exclusively breastfeed, but she brings me so much peace. Like, she's like the calm in my beginning of the day, even though she causes so much chaos. Just seeing her in the morning, like, it just calms me down and centers me in a way. And I think sometimes you look at us and you look at all the tasks and you look at the financial responsibilities and you look at the time that you're not spending with us because you're working. And I think that causes stress in you that's very different. I don't feel that. That's not my role. You know, our roles have always been complementary to each other, and I think right now we have two totally different roles in the marriage.
I'm glad you even mentioned the parenting thing. We jumped right into this conversation, but I prefer it this way. Like, real talk, none of this shit is calming or centering to me, and it really bothers me because life was crazy when it was just E. This feels unmanageable to me.
Yeah.
And it's hard to complain because you breastfeed. The work distribution right now is not even. I don't do
as it pertains to parenting.
as it
You see?
fair.
Yeah.
But that's my bugaboo right
Yeah.
now as it pertains to parenting. And I look at Noémie, and I've never been the type of person to be jealous. I don't think I really have a jealous mentality, but I think this is the closest that I ever been. Because I watch you look at these girls, and it just seems like a part of you is affirmed. Like a part of you that you felt like needed to be completed is here.
Yeah.
You know, and like the things that you aspired to growing up, you have them. And I want to feel like you so bad. But I feel like a non-believer in a church.
Can I play devil's advocate?
Sure.
And by no means am I trying to diminish it.
Nah.
I feel like that's what you have in your career that I don't have. And you know what I mean?
I never
just
thought
feel
about
like
that.
you were able to quit your 9 to 5. You were able to, like, you know, grow into this space that everybody told you, that you knew, forget everybody else, that you knew you wanted to be in. And I just feel like you're affirmed in your career and in your mark on the world in a way that you've always wanted to be. If you guys are new here, you don't know that this man used to be a rapper, a well-known rapper in DC, to the point where we were at the grocery store one day and somebody had his rap name tattooed on her body.
Oh,
That's a real thing. But I feel like...
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and then you tried to play it off like it was nothing. I was like, who the hell were you before I met you? But
Damn, how you remember that?
How could I forget it?
That's
How could you
facts.
forget a situation like that? But I just feel like you've always wanted to be in this space, and now you're finally there. And I think for me, the opposite is like, I'm a lawyer. I can't say that I've always dreamed of being a lawyer or like this thing that I've wanted to do my whole life. It's a job. Like it's a job that I enjoy. But I'm not affirmed in my career. But when I look at Emery is almost 5 now, and she can tell me the things that she loves about me and what she loves to do with me. And I'm in this groove with my daughters where things make sense. Like I feel like I know what I'm doing. I feel affirmed. That's just my thing right now. And I think that goes back to the alignment. Like I think we are doing the same things and we're going towards the same place, but we're just like parallel to each other.
I think that's true for a lot of things.
Yeah.
I didn't really look at the job split like that.
I'm jealous too, like in the same way that you're jealous.
Yeah,
it's like I feel like you found something that makes sense for you.
I do, but I'm so overwhelmed by the parent that I don't feel like I can enjoy it. There's a space, like we split duties as much as we can. Sometimes school is crazy far away from our house. Like sometimes I'll be like, you know what, I'll drop her off and pick her up. And that's 4 hours out of your day just by doing that. Yeah. But I see you, I know
it's not a 4-hour commute, guys.
No, just from start to finish, from the time you walk in to the time you walk in twice, it's going to be 4 hours. Yeah. So I try to take as much off of you as I can, but I don't think it's a comparison here. But I think where the job thing and the parent thing is different is the job does feel fulfilling in a way that I love what I do, but my job isn't the responsibility. I have the job to take care of the responsibilities. I can fail this thing and never post another Instagram post and just completely walk away. And as long as my family's fine, 4 lives are fine. If we walk away from the family, it's a different thing. Or if I don't have the energy to play with my daughter when she's super excited, or I'm always annoyed when she asks me a question, or I'm like, damn, I've been holding this baby for like 2 hours now. Like, that doesn't feel good for me to not love those things.
Can I ask you a question?
For sure.
So what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that there are things that pertain to the family that you wish you had more time to do. Like you said, like you wish you had more time to spend time with your daughter. Like you weren't as tired.
You mean before?
What you just said right now. You said you were frustrated because like you don't have the energy to play with your daughter when she wants to.
Oh no, I'm frustrated that she's asking me. Like I don't feel like I have the bandwidth for all the people who need me.
But does that bother you? So where is the concern, agitation, irritation, whatever? Is that feeling in being asked, or is that feeling in you're so busy that you have to be asked?
The feeling is in the fact that I don't feel like my time is mine. I feel like my time is in servitude to my children. Like, if I get in, I drop E off, and we come back, and I know I gotta work, I gotta edit, I gotta have meetings, I gotta do all of this stuff. I'm looking at the clock constantly until the time where you gotta go pick her up and I'm home with Sydney alone. I just feel like I'm always waiting. And then once she gets home, I'm waiting until the nanny comes. Then I'm looking at the clock, I'm like, oh, the nanny's about to leave. As soon as the nanny leave, I'm dreading until we gotta wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and do it all over again. And then on the weekends, if we don't get out the house, I feel terrible leaving you here with 2 kids, so I don't go anywhere. And then if I go somewhere, I'm like, damn, I'm gonna have to come home and pick up the slack of leaving you with 2 kids for 6 hours.
Do you think it bothers me to be with the kids for 6 hours?
I don't know if it bothers you, but when I present to you like, hey, I got something that I'm trying to do, the same look of immediate panic runs across your face, like, oh, I'm about to have them both by myself. I know that's just a reaction because, like, ugh, who want to do
Let
that?
me tell you what I feel in that moment. It's not so much like a, I don't want to do it. It's more like a, oh, your request is the day before. What can I do? Where can I go? What does the weather look like? Are my friends available? Are they not available? So it's not like a, I don't want to do this. It's just a logistical, chaotic thing in my mind because I'm an overplanner.
I gotta tell myself that because in the moment, it's like, you know what?
Dude, for real?
I'm just not gonna go nowhere. I'm gonna sit in the basement and I'm gonna just stare at the wall.
I think a good practice for us in those moments is to talk about how we feel versus assuming what the other person feels. Because one thing that I'm noticing and what you're saying is that I think I was wrong in feeling like you wanted to spend more time. Like, I thought you thought that work was in the way of spending time with your kids.
Oh, God,
I didn't necessarily think that it was like your time wasn't yours, like you just wanted more time to do the things that you want to do. Guys, we've had this conversation for a long time, but I think this is the first time that we're able to really sit down and dig through it because we're always with her, we're always with Emery, you know what I mean? But I think what I can do for you is reassure you that, like, me being with the girls doesn't bother me at all. And I thought you wanted more time to spend time with the girls.
No, my fear right now is that, like, being in proximity to the family, feeling guilty about not being around, for me, it's always going to be the attention I got to pay or how I got to be around other eyes and I can't just be to myself. But now the work is becoming so demanding that I feel like the children and the family, I don't have enough time to really work and do what I need to do. And my fear is that I feel like I won't reach my heights. I know, and I think I need like 10, 12 more hours a week.
Let me step back. You had a live with Maddie James a couple months ago.
Shout out to Maddie James.
First of all, I get all of my gems from Maddie James.
She's a genius.
She has no idea that I've been like a stan for years. So like the fact that I feel like I can like talk to her is just wild.
The Maddie James like on Instagram.
The Maddie James. Yeah, but also she's the Maddie James. But anyway, she said something about a family mission statement and how her and her husband have spent quite a few years, like the better part of 5+ years, trying to establish what their roles are with the business. They have 3 kids now. I think that they've been through a lot of things, and she talked about the importance of having a family mission statement. So basically just your family's mission. What are you guys prioritizing right now? It can change, it can edit, but without that, you don't really know where you guys are in the family. And I think one thing that we might have to do offline, or maybe we can talk through it a little bit now, is like, what is our family mission statement? I think that if you're trying to parent and be the kind of father and partner that you were with 1 kid, with 2 kids, is ridiculous no matter what career field you're in.
That's facts.
Like, and I just think that we have to be okay with that. But just because she doesn't get the same exact dad that Emery got doesn't mean that she's missing out on anything. Just because you're spending more time on your own doesn't mean you're taking anything away from your family. Let's be 100% honest. You don't even want to spend time with us all the time. She be kicking us out of her room. Like, she actually does. The other day I asked her, do you mind if I come in here? She's like, yeah. And then the face that she made, she's like, yeah, and then started closing the door.
That's so rude.
Like, what? But I get it. I think because this is a family business, we just got to make a couple of sacrifices. But I don't think the sacrifice necessarily means that anybody is going to miss out on anything. I just think it needs to be a shift in priority. I would venture to say that you are even more of an involved father with Sydney than you were with Eve. because you're home all the time.
I know, that's the problem.
Right, but even if you weren't, let's say when I go back to work and we go back to traditional 9 to 5, for you to kind of be away from the family and work for real from 9 to 5, you can still go out with your friends at 8 o'clock and be home from 5 to 7:30 before the girls go to sleep. Yeah. It's not like they're up 24 hours a day. Yeah. You know what I mean? You and I still have date nights. Yeah. I think if anything, we've picked up on the time that you and I spend together.
That's because you pulled me to the side and said you felt like I didn't spend enough time with you.
But it took one conversation, and it's not a thing anymore.
I think this is where you and I think very differently. What you're seeing now is the divergence of me and Noémie's train of thought. Yeah. This is where Noémie is really, really strong at saying, okay, this isn't working for me. I'm going to pivot, and we're going to put systems in place to figure out what works. We may not get that, but we'll get something. I love that about her, but my brain does not work well with that. Mm-hmm. My brain stops. When I feel overwhelmed, I shut down. When I was younger, I stopped paying my bills. I stopped paying my credit cards. If I feel sad, I can't make content. Mm-hmm. It's tough for me to work in a creative space where I feel overwhelmed. Like, I don't want to come up with a strategy. I know we need to. I'm tired. I don't want to pay attention to anything I don't have to. E said daddy 4,000 times this morning. I was like, yo, I'm tired of being talked to. I'm tired of planning. I'm tired of thinking. We all on top of each other. We building a new house and it's big as hell, but we don't have it now. To me, it just feels like a never ending weight on my back. And it's not that y'all are the weight. It's just that with the family, I want to do best by y'all. So it's the expectations.
So this is another thing that I do that has proven to be an issue in our relationship. So I'm going to try not to do it too much, but I'm a fixer and I'm a solver. And sometimes Kier just wants to vent and I'm like, well, but I'm just going to do it this one time. When you're talking about like the expenses and like school, for example, we pay less for East tuition than we did before. The amount of money that we have coming in and the expenses that we're putting out, I think the numbers may look crazy.
The numbers look terrifying.
The numbers look terrifying, but one, we can afford it and it's warranted. Like, it's literally to take pressure off of us. And I think that, yes, it's an issue, and yes, this is hard, and yes, this is like stressful, but I don't know that you can identify like, okay, this particular stress, what about this is stressing you out? Is this actually something that if we had or we didn't have, or like we really analyze the situation, that it'll warrant the emotion that comes with it? It's kind of like when you're at work and you've been putting off an assignment for forever and it's due tomorrow and you're like, I didn't finish it, and then you finally do it and you're like, oh
yeah.
Not to downplay it, but I just think that the bigness of what's in front of us is so overwhelming that if we just took little chunks away from it, I think all you need at this point is to get away from the house. I think the problem is that you're in the house.
I need space to just be able to think a little bit clearly. I noticed I dropped E off at school this morning. I leaned my seat back and I was like, yo, I can think. I came up with 4 ideas on the drive back from there. But I think you're right. And I know you say I don't like when you come up with the solutions like that, but it's necessary in our relationship because if we both thought like me, in this type of situation, nothing will get done. I just need a moment to sit and be sad. And once I realize exactly how I feel, I can do the right thing about it. If I try to move on it the second I feel it, I'm moving towards actions that don't even represent the way I feel for real. It takes me a long time to realize how I feel sometimes. So it's just we got 2 different speed processes. That's it. But yours is necessary though, because we do need to pivot. I'm just not in a space. I don't care. And I think the internet needs to hear this from a father who is clearly present in their kids' lives. Like, I don't care. And it's not that I don't love these things I have to take care of. It's not I don't care about you and my family. It's like, you can only give a about so many things.
At once.
You
can't care about everything.
My shelf is full. If Emery is fed every morning walking out of school and she got her water in her book bag, she might not have her allergy medicine. I don't know.
And she doesn't sometimes. And nothing okay. Happened.
But then the one time I pick her up and her eye looked like she been fighting Mike Tyson.
And she was fine.
Damn.
But she was fine. She has allergies. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. And I also...
I guess that's just how the guilt work. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And I think another thing that you have to understand is when you're in the thick of things, you can't see...
You didn't like that. I'm sorry. I did too much. I'm sorry.
When you're in the thick of things, you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. You're talking about how you don't have time, right? I go back to work June 1st. We have a nanny during the day. You know what that means? You don't have to take E to school. You don't have to pick her up. You literally have your days until 4 o'clock. And I think that
Did you hear that?
Because
Daddy's about to have a life again. It's been so long.
But
Yo, I'm weird around people now.
But we've had this plan in place for a month.
It's just
you just couldn't see it.
I can't.
Yeah, you couldn't see it. But it's happening in less than 2 weeks.
The kid is stressed. You understand? I'm so weird around people and social interactions, man. I used to be smooth and we can talk and parlay.
It's not a you thing. It's also COVID. Like,
weird,
you've been in the
man.
house for 2 years.
Life
I think
is
everybody's
weird.
Everybody is weird. You're weird right now.
My brain's telling me I'm weirder than you, though. I'm weirder than you.
I just also want you to know, like, I literally feel the same exact ways that you feel, but my response to things are different. You see my responses as super organized in systems. I think it's borderline obsessive, but I have to. For me, I don't do well with the unknown, so if I can think about every single possible scenario before it happens, I feel better about tomorrow. If you want to go out, I have no problem with you going out. In my head, I'm just like, oh, I need to call Paula to see if she's free. Let me call Simona and see if she got the boys. What if it's raining tomorrow so I can take the girls out? It doesn't bother me to do that, but I can't just get up and go. I'm just not that, but you are.
Yeah.
You're a person that can just get up and figure it out. I will lose my entire mind.
This is a really good point about how
Let me see if she wants milk now.
how two different minds have to come together in a marriage.
Does this look familiar?
Yeah, man. That's crazy. Shout out to breastfeeding moms.
I'm actually going to put a plug in when this was Emery.
Yeah.
She was the same age.
I mean, that's what a relationship is. Stuff happens,
Yeah.
and it accumulates over time. And ideally, you would like to just think that you can put all of your feelings on the table, and the other person put all of their feelings out on the table, and then somehow y'all meet in the middle, and y'all, oh, okay, I know how you feel, and they say the same thing, and then everyone walks away with an understanding. But no, it never works that way because everybody has feelings they're entitled to. Nostalgia. This is how this could possibly be unfair to either party in a relationship. You have a person who absolutely needs to be organized to the point where they say it's obsessive. You have a person who is go with the flow and who gets exhausted by tasks. So that means the thing that helps her cope is the thing that drives me crazy. And the thing that makes me feel safe is the thing that drives her nuts. How do you make that work? And I don't have a definite answer, but I know for us, sometimes it's just about who cares more in the moment. Who has more skin in the game, who has more stock in whatever we're disagreeing with. I hate traveling to going and picking Boobie up from school. I hate it. But how many times last week did I pick her up and drop her off? Because I'm like, nah, you look tired.
Yeah.
Nah, I still got her back.
Yeah.
Regardless of I'm not in a good space. You know, I've been losing a bunch of family members. I'm tired. I am supremely overworked. It's bad in every way. Still, I still got to be a husband to my wife, and I still got to be a partner to my friend. So, I don't know. It just feels like when you're shaving a piece of wood and you whittling it down, and it's down to a nub, and you still trying to do like this and get some strands off of it. It's temporary. I just keep telling myself that, but my mind won't accept temporary. Feels like the space I'm in now, I'm going to be in forever.
I know. I've noticed that.
It's like an emotional hamster wheel.
Yeah, I've noticed. I think, so you kind of pose a dilemma is when the way that two people kind of navigate stress and just problem solve personally, for us, it's like we're at two totally different ends of the spectrum. But I think what brings us together is like, you got to just be a partner to your friend. Sometimes it's going to be heavy on him and sometimes it's going to be heavy on me. And like, we've talked about this so many times in relationships where it's not 50-50. It's never going to be 50-50.
Yeah, that's an
it could be
illusion.
100-0, you know what I mean, at some points, or any type of variation of that on either side. And I just think that when we had the conversation about us both being overwhelmed, that was like a checkpoint. But I think in relationships, we're always checking in on each other. Like you said, I would never say, hey, I'm too overwhelmed to go pick Emery up. But you saw it and you did it. You didn't even ask me. You said, I'm picking E up. And I just think like that's sometimes what we have to do. And I think that's sometimes what we do naturally. We just never put a title on what we were doing. Is life crazy? Yes. Life don't make no sense right now. It's great and it's terrible and it's stressful all at the same time. We gotta do a day in the life
so people can see. It's nuts.
We will.
It's kind of nuts.
But my brain just can't allow me to think that it's that bad. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm nuts. Maybe I'm crazy. But my brain can never allow me to think that any situation is that bad. That's just how I'm built. I'm overly optimistic. I'm sure I'm annoying as hell. Like I know that I annoy myself. I be wanting to be mad at stuff and I just can't stay mad. It's okay, you can laugh. I want to be upset. I want to be stressed, but my body just doesn't allow me to do that. But I really do think that we're together for a reason because of those things. I would be obsessive compulsive without you. I'd be crazy.
I just can't care that much about
you just run away. You would just run away at the sight
why we doing all that? We can just do this.
But I just think that life can be really, really crazy, but just checking in with your partner. And remember I told you before, seek positive intent. That changed everything for me. If we were having this conversation when he was this age, I would say that he's trying to destroy me. He's trying to kill me.
Yeah, Noémie really thought, it's so confusing. She thought I was out to get her.
I thought that, like, you just wanted to piss me off. I really did. Because some of the things that happened, I'm like, how could you not know? It'll be something dumb, though. Like, I'll clean the entire kitchen and you'll put a bowl there with oatmeal that crusted, after oatmeal crust. And I'm like, not only do I have to clean this, but now I have to soak it. You just trying to be petty. That's what I thought.
And I'm not even that type of petty person at all.
You don't even think that way.
Nah.
Like, you wouldn't even think to do that.
Remember when we used to, like, when we first started dating, you tell me stuff, I'm like, what? I was like, I don't even think like that. Like, what are you talking about?
But that's just the way it came across, and we just had to really get to know each other, get to know how we both responded to pressure.
Yeah,
First
facts.
of all, we ain't know nothing when we got married about how we respond to hardship. We thought we knew.
I think the way we respond now isn't the way we responded when we got married.
And it's not. But yeah, I think we have this idea when we meet people, or even when we get married and we have these serious relationships, that like who we're in a relationship with is who we gonna be in a relationship with. And this ain't the. I've been with 3 different men since we got married.
Excuse me? Nah. Yeah.
But
I argue it's been like 6 because
Yeah.
you change. That's a part of evolution and growth and all of these buzzwords that we love to talk about on Instagram. It's being different than you were before, but not all growth is always going to be in the direction that you love.
Yeah.
I don't know if I love this. I read this book called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. I love that book. It changed my life. And he always talk. Damn, I swear I talked about it before on the sit down talk. The upper limit problem. And my upper limit problem.
What's the upper limit problem?
The upper limit problem is it's just a fundamental issue that you have that's always going to block you when you reach higher levels of love and acceptance and success.
Like the ceiling.
It's your ceiling, but unless you change your habits, it's going to be hard to overcome that. That's why I just switched my therapist because I got blockages. I'm having a hard time moving past. I don't know too many people that have been this successful. Ain't no roadmap, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm at a part of my business where I'm like, wait, I'm a creative and now I gotta pay other people to do the shit that I could do easily so I can have some sanity.
Yeah.
Like it's different in instructing people and paying people and negotiating and then your face being the brand, you don't really get a break. I don't know, man.
Just peopling in general. You go into business for yourself so that you don't have to people, and that's a lie.
That's a lie.
That's a fallacy.
You ain't never peopled harder than you people when you got your own business.
Yeah.
And you gotta have discipline, which isn't necessarily one of my strong suits. Yeah. You gotta know.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
getting better.
Yeah. Don't talk about my man like that.
It's getting better. I recognize I'm just not in a good place right now.
Yeah.
And I'm overwhelmed. And some days are really positive and they feel upbeat. But my life only consists of my family and the work that I do. And that absolutely has to change. Maybe this entire episode will come off like a big vent session. And so what? Maybe
it's okay.
Yeah, if it does, I don't care.
This is real life.
There's this assumption that success, when you get it, it's just like, there it is, Shangri-La, here we are. All right, now it's time to just sit back and enjoy. And it's not. Wasn't it you that said to thrive and to flourish take 2 different muscles? Or they require 2 different things of you?
If I did, that's amazing. I said that?
Yeah, man. To climb to the top, you become enamored with it. And then once you get in position, all that climbing, those skills those muscles you use.
You know what it is?
They don't help you continue to ascend.
people think success is a destination. Like, once I reach, no, like, life doesn't work that way. When you reach the end of life, you die. That's the end.
Yeah.
Whether you are working in corporate America, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're single, whether you're married, you're always working towards something. And I think that society has like brainwashed us to think that if I do something enough, I'm going to get something and then I'm done. There is no done.
No,
I
there's no
actually
done.
am a sociologist by degree.
Degree.
Anyway, but I really do feel that way. And I feel like, and this is like a pitch to my mom, but I feel like she's an example of somebody in my life that's always working. And all the times that I thought like she was done, she was like, nah, like I'm not. My mom was never done.
Your mom loves to work though.
But that's why she's successful to me. Think of anybody. Look at all the Beyonce documentaries that we've seen. Yeah. I ain't never seen her chill. Not when she need to do something. And I feel like if she does sit down, if she does get to a point where she sits, she's done something right before that. Like she went on a tour and then you didn't hear from her for 2 years because she did what she needed to do and she's resting.
That's a really good point.
You know what I mean?
I think I'm guilty of what a lot of people are guilty of, and that's working but not really acknowledging that the work you did, even though it may be easier for you because you're very skilled, it takes a lot out of you. Mm-hmm. And you may need prolonged periods of rest. I go in the gym, we do different exercises, but it's humbling knowing I used to be able to lift 300 and now it's like 120. Mm-hmm. But I don't
get there.
Not only will I get there, but I don't really give myself the credit when it takes me 45 seconds to rest instead of 15 between sets. And I think it's the same way. You know, it may not feel like that it's heavy of a lift. That rest is what you need in a moment. And I'm terrible at giving myself that. Got to get better at that.
You're a busybody. I think you feel like if you're not doing anything, no. I think you've become that first. You've gone from one extreme. You've gone from one extreme to the next.
That's what happens when you become a father.
No. I think this is a you thing. I think you went from chilling a lot during your free time.
You got a wayward eyelash.
Don't pull it.
It's backwards though. Open your eye. There you go.
Oh, it was falling out. That's my fake lash.
I knew that joint. I say no, that joint backwards.
Yeah, because ladies, if you got lash extensions, you know when that one be curling that way, you just gotta flip it over.
Doing it no more.
I just think that I don't think you give yourself enough time to chill. But it'd be like extreme. You'd be like, I want to go away for a week. Like you can't. You can't do that. Your day off might actually be a Saturday for 5 hours. And I think you look at it and be like, 5 hours isn't enough versus that's 5 hours I would have gotten if I didn't.
I am trying my hardest to wrap my mind around this adjustment of what my time looks like.
Yeah, man.
You've
been a daddy for 5 years.
It's 5 years in my head. I was just in my own apartment with my time to myself. You know?
You were in your apartment like 6 years ago.
I know, man. But in my head, you know, it just doesn't feel like that time. And it kind of feels like you're at a job and you make $150,000 a year. And that's enough to live on. It's more than enough. And then you get another job where you make like 100. And you can still live on that, but you can't get the organic chicken no more. You gotta get the regular chicken. Yeah. And it sounds like rich people problems, but it's like, damn, I don't want this boo-boo chicken where it's kind of yellow and it smell funny.
So what's the boo-boo chicken? This life?
Nah, it's as opposed to having your whole weekend to yourself. You get a sliver of 4 hours on a Saturday, but you gotta come home and be a dad. But then the opposite, the inverse of that is, I went out for a whole music festival.
And you came home. He was home.
Was dog. Like, I don't know what I want.
He came home in the middle of the day too. And I was like, why are you here?
I have become, I don't know what I want out of life. I have become the women that I complained about when I was dating.
I think I know what you want.
What I want?
I think that you wouldn't have this life if you didn't have this family. This is just you struggling with transition because it kind of reminds me of a conversation that I had with a friend of mine, how she's in her 30s and she was like, I want to go back to my 20s because I had so much fun. I'm like, when we were broke, when you were living in a basement apartment, when we had relationship issues and we were crying at home about dudes doing us wrong and you know what I mean? We couldn't go the places that we wanted to go. And I told her, I was just like, now we can pick up and go to a country in Africa. Now we can go spend a week in Costa Rica or Colombia. Yeah. And it's just like, are you upset at the fact that like you want to go back to that life? Or are you just in this transitional period where you just don't recognize yourself right now?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both, and it's also romanticizing the past.
Oh, for sure.
I was just listening to it was some rapper. Was it one of the City Girls? I don't remember, but they were on the Shade Room on Instagram and saying like men don't treat women like we did back in the 90s. You know, our society isn't like it was back in the 90s and 80s. We don't appreciate anybody. And I thought about what she was saying. I was like, man, we really romanticize the past.
Yeah.
Because people haven't been better to people in the past at all. We want things like the 70s and 80s. Like, do you?
That is true. I'm thinking about hip hop from the early 2000s and where they used to call out women. Ugh.
Yo, you remember that interview with Monica Lewinsky? Who was that? Diane Sawyer?
Oh, was it Barbara Walters?
Barbara Walters? One of them.
Man.
Through today's lens, go back and listen to the interview.
Man.
It's cringy.
And the one with Britney Spears.
Yeah. So we romanticize the past, but that's not true. That's a complete delusion. And we do that on an individual basis too. Like, oh, my life, man, I was just talking to one of my homies, same situation as me, married, kids, the whole nine. He's like, man, I'll take my mid-20s back for 1 week. Just give them to me for 1 week and I'll be good.
Right back.
And I was like, I could probably do about, I think after 24 hours, I'm like, I miss my kids. I want to go back. It's like, bro, you're going to sit at a bar with some woman and she's going to have a conversation you don't care about. And all you're going to be able to think about is your wife. You romanticize that time because it was so special and it's gone.
I think it's the freedom. I think that the hardest part in coupling up and having kids is that you don't have the freedom to just go. I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that still.
And that's my thing, just going.
I feel that still. And it's not, for me, it's not even like just to go, but it's like go out and go get my hair done without scheduling. Like going to get my nails done. Trust me, I feel that, but I also, maybe this is just a me thing, I feel like because I've always been this super optimistic person, I like to live in the moment, that I can go back to my 20s and be like, I enjoyed that, but 20-year-old me would look at this and be like, damn. You know, and that's
like, hold
that's
on.
how
like,
I
bro, where you buy that shirt from?
Yes, like I don't have the life of my dreams, but I have a life that I'm really proud of. And even the things that I don't have, like, for example, we were talking about the house. We're moving into a new house in the end of the year, and we visited a model of it, and we looked inside, and we're like, oh, it doesn't feel
We're a little disappointed with the layout.
And then I talked to one of my best friends about it earlier today, and she's just like, this ain't your forever home. And I'm like, yeah. Like, why am I looking at this like it's the end-all, be-all when nothing in my life has ever been that? When any point of our relationship was never the end-all, be-all. We had Emery. That wasn't the end-all, be-all.
There is no end-all, be-all.
There is no end-all, be-all. And I think it's a good practice to kind of live in the moment. And I hate saying like these cliche things, but like finding joy in the moment. You don't have to live that life. Nobody does that for real.
Okay, Hallmark greeting card.
Like, don't nobody live that life for real. But it's just a moment. Maybe that can be thinking about it on your own. Maybe that could be just talking to your friend about it.
Saying it out loud.
Yeah, saying it out loud really helps. And I think like after having those conversations, just like, you know what? Life ain't perfect. Things aren't perfect, but they're pretty good. And I can find joy in little moments. Shit still sucks. I still woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning every hour just to feed her, just for her to be asleep now. And I promise you, if I put her down, she's going to scream. But life ain't perfect, but look, I like it. I like it. I'm feeling it right now. Like, it's cool. Like, I'm with it.
All right, let me try.
Oh, God.
I'm not with none of this. But
look at the car you got. Look at the house you got.
I feel you, but that's
look
just...
Look at the clothes. Look at your shoes.
That's material. I feel you. Material, it don't register in my head. Somebody's watching this right now and like, man, this dude is ungrateful. He needs to be thankful for the things that he has. Time out. You can be unhappy with your circumstances in the moment and still very grateful for everything that you have. People have fallen into this false idea that gratitude lives and dies in words, and it doesn't. Gratitude isn't a thought. Gratitude isn't a gesture. Too much emphasis on words because now everybody has words for everything, and words are starting not to mean shit. It's bigger than just that, but I'm deeply grateful, but I'm also contending with a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, my past, everything's kind of coming to a head. I'm trying to hold myself accountable and give myself some leash at the same time. And I think what you're seeing is that I'm not gonna hop on a camera and pretend I'm super, hey man, happy to be here. I'm so thankful that you guys invited. I don't need to overemphasize fake joy and happiness. I'm just who I am in the moment. Right now, I ain't f***ing with none of this shit. I hate waking up early in the morning all the time to get cereal and take her little ass to school, man. That's some bullshit. I still love when she kisses me on the cheek and tells me she loves me. I still love the conversations we have when I walk with her every day on my shoulders from the school to my car. That's like a half a mile hike. You know what I'm saying? But like, I can complain about the that I'm thankful for. And I don't want you to think that you can't. That is a ridiculous narrative that holds no merit in my space. But on that same token, I'm not rocking with none of it, but I will one day have kids that are like 12, 13 years old, who can hold dope conversations and have individual personalities. My wife and I, this is probably the hardest point of our marriage. God. And our marriage ain't even the problem.
It's not even.
It ain't even us. We good.
It's them.
It's the
else.
responsibilities,
it's
man.
Else.
So I'm thankful for that. Like material success. I got shoes and clothes and all that. That's dope. I got a lot of things that I always wanted or I always thought would bring me happiness. And I'm realizing happiness is something else. And I am on an incessant search to find it. I have it. I know that it's here. My mind is just, I don't know. It's hanging on to.
What do you think is that roadblock? Because I feel like when you search for happiness, you like let things stand in the way of it. It's like you're able to see like, I don't know why I feel this way, but I feel that way. What is that thing?
I think I know what it is. I think I'm overwhelmed and I'm overstimulated. Like, remember when we were planning a wedding and you would talk about the wedding?
Overstimulation is a thing. You know?
I didn't know that until I met you. I'm constantly overstimulated.
Yeah.
The DMs, the people, my team. You got questions about the business. You got questions about the kids. You got questions about the house.
Yeah.
E got questions. Sydney needs to be held. My friends, my family. It's just, I love to live a small, simple life, and I'm making space for a lot of right now. And I'm trying to prioritize it in a way.
I think the whole mindset that one day things are going to get better kind of go back to what I was saying before.
That's a trash bag mindset.
That's trash.
Yeah. I wasn't going to tell you no. When you said you wanted, it's no way I was going to tell you no.
Because I also need those moments too.
Yeah, I know.
But I think this is your moment. And I'm okay with it. I think also you don't give me enough credit sometimes for me to tell you that I'm not okay with something. If you want to do something,
I don't. You right about that. Yeah.
And like, I'm not afraid of conflict in our relationship. Conflict isn't it's the fighting part. But if you and I don't agree on a situation, as long as we get to a place where both of us are okay, I'm fine. There have been many times where you made decisions to do stuff and I was just like, I don't like the fact that I have to do this, but that's cool because I'm gonna make sure I have my vacation day. You know what I mean? And I think that's okay. I think you need it more than I do. But I definitely think I'm going to need it at some point. And I don't ever want to feel like when he really needed this moment, I wasn't understanding of it, even though I had to do more. I'm okay with that. And if I can't, baby, I will tell you. I'll be like, you know what?
I gotta give you more trust that you tell me because I know that. But in the moment, I don't want to do anything to feel more like I'm not being the best husband that I can be or not being the best partner is understanding.
But it comes from a place where I used to do that. And I think you also have to recognize I'm not the same person that I was when we first
I wasn't going to bring that up, and I'm glad you did. Yeah, it's a ghost of the relationship past.
I held shit against you. You know what I mean?
It's very hard to see you in this new light.
Maybe it's been
compared to that.
We've been together for 8 years.
That shit was heavy, and it happened in the beginning.
But remember, you told me the same thing.
I know.
You told me I had to get my shit together.
We do that for each other in different spaces. This is the bugaboo that I'm struggling with. It's hard to not see you as 2015, Noémie, sometimes. And I don't want the smoke, so I just jump ahead of it and I just say, fuck it, I'm not going to deal with it. But it's not working.
We're not 2015 Kier Noémie. We're totally different people, and I got your back.
I know you do,
I got your back.
I'm a work in progress.
I'm gonna just have to force you to take your time, and I'll just let you be mad at me for overstepping. But you'll feel better after you get away from the family.
Do you feel like once I get away a little bit?
This is us kind of living in the past and kind of working through our stuff. Like even before when I said I overstep, is because he's called me out for overstepping, and I'm sensitive about doing that, but sometimes I do have to. Sometimes I have to override. Sometimes I have to text the team and be like, hey, Kier's asleep. Here's not going to get back to you until tomorrow. Is there anything I can do? Yes, that's overstepping, but I know my husband. I know him, and he's going to work himself to the bone for something that's not even necessary. Yeah. Not even necessary at all. Like something that'll be easier for me to do than for you to try to figure out.
My mind likes to overcomplicate. So that don't help.
And I just feel like this is me overstepping and saying, like, you need to go away. You and I can figure out how far and how long you'll be away, but you need to be away. We are not in a situation where it was like where we didn't have the help that we have now. We have help.
I know.
It's just hard to ask for it.
It's hard to ask for it.
That's the key. It's hard to ask for it, but we have the help, and I can do this on my own. Like, I'm not incapable of taking care of these babies. When you come home, if the nanny's not here, I might do that. But I mean,
yeah. And most of the time, if I get some time,
you be ready. You be missing your babies. You be ready to get them back.
This is the issue. We haven't been on a vacation in a really long time.
You and I can't go on a vacation together right now, so you go on one by yourself.
We thought that we were going to Florida on a vacation, and what we found out is that when you travel with kids, it's not a vacation, it's a trip. We ain't know that. We like, man, we're going to be rested. I came back from Florida 3 times more tired than I was when we went. My God.
It took 2 weeks to feel back to normal. But after Florida, we went to Nashville, and that was everything.
Yeah.
That was we went to Florida for 2 weeks, went to Nashville for 2 days.
That little trip was amazing.
Everything. But that just goes to show you don't need much. I'm in operations extraordinaire, like toot. But I can do this. I can just tell me how long you need to go, and I can make it work. Let me do that for you. It's nothing for me to do that.
Okay, yeah, I just didn't know this is where we were with it. When I see your face, when I talk about me even doing anything, it just adds to, because the scheduling thing.
Don't assume how I feel. Ask me.
I can do that.
And I'll do the same.
I can do that. I definitely need to get out the house though.
Yes. Please go.
It's bad.
Go.
But the other thing is the energy level. I fall asleep on the couch at like 9:30, 10 o'clock every night.
Then make it a 3-day trip, so one day you can sleep.
You going a 3-day trip with you and the
3
girls?
days excessive. 2.
Yeah.
But it can be a weekend. Like you're gone, you leave Friday, and then you come back Sunday.
Man, okay.
Honestly, babe, we got help. Listen, we making a little bit extra money. Call the nanny. She can come 2 days that week. Spend time with the family. Spend time with the girls. I have friends with kids.
I think that what's really starting to get in my head is just me being in this space where I see people's content, and I know that content is a runoff of how people think, and there's just this reoccurring theme of the incompetent husband who takes way too much personal time and doesn't chip in.
Nobody thinks that you're an incompetent husband.
But I don't care what nobody thinks. It's about what's in here and here. I always see where I can do more, and I go back to that This Is Us episode.
What can you do more? Tell me. Let's
with my actual bandwidth, or in theory?
In theory, what can you do more? Because this is where I think the thing is bigger than what it actually is. What can you actually do more?
First off, mind your business. Mm-hmm. Okay. Second off,
I want my Sterling K. Brown.
Our food is at the door. I don't know what I can do more. That's a good question.
There's nothing more you can do.
But you just look like you dying, dog, every day.
I have a 4-month-old. I'm dead.
That's wild.
That's dead. Okay, y'all got kids? What you look like at 4 months? The fact that I look like this right now, come on. I am winning.
What y'all look like at 4 months?
I'm just saying. I look like I'm dying because I'm dying. Not because there's anything more or even less you can do. It's because I am a breastfeeding mother of a 4-month-old who also has a 4-year-old who's also trying to navigate 9-to-5 / entrepreneurial life and the social media. It's a lot. But I look mad cute right now. I'm okay. I'm all right. I might look rough sometimes, but hey, I'm okay. I told you this when we first met. Do whatever you have to do and give me the opportunity to tell you whether or not I like this or not.
That does work 60% of the time.
Yeah, but it's not going to work sometimes.
But when it don't work, it be catastrophic.
Yeah, but did we break yet?
I mean, that's not the rubric by which I want to operate, whether or not something broke. I just think
the fear of something possibly not working out or not being the way that you want it to be isn't enough to take care of yourself.
That's a great point. I think my self-care for the last, at least since halfway through your pregnancy, has been poor. And I think one of the best ways to really neglect your self-care is to overemphasize on other people taking care of themselves. But therapists really struggle with that. And I stay on top of my doctor's visits.
Baby,
I got my personal trainer.
I'm still
it just
waiting
feels
for
crazy.
you to tell me
I don't
what
know.
you can do more
I don't know.
I know what you can do more of.
What?
Spend
Rest.
time on you, man. Like, get out of our face. Go away. The fact that you've worked every day from home, you actually don't have to be here.
So from now until the day you go back to work, if I leave the house during the day and I'm not here during the day, as long as I come back by the time you can pick up, you cool with that?
Yes, baby, you're not, no shade,
Right.
but you be downstairs working anyway. If I ever give you Sid, she sleep, or you're wearing her and working anyway, it's fine. It really is fine.
I'm starting to realize that I've been avoiding that conversation because I feel so overwhelmed, and I didn't realize that the answer was that simple, because I could have did that, but I've been avoiding it, man, because in my head I feel like it's more I could be doing. Whether that's true or not, that's how I feel. The last thing I want is to hear you tell me that shit and confirm it when I'm not in a place to fix it.
I think this is a great example of, I love you, but you didn't listen to me when I said what my priority was while I'm on maternity leave.
Yeah.
I'm not multitasking. I have taken maternity leave from content. I have taken maternity leave from my 9 to 5. My priority is mothering and taking care of this baby.
You've been doing a great job.
And you being here is helpful, but like, I've taken this as my job. This is my 9 to 5 job. We have help in the evenings. This is my 9 to 5 job. I don't need, I was about to say, I don't need you. No, not like that. But no, I don't need you to feel that overwhelming sense of you having to do stuff all the time.
Well, that's
especially because you're so overwhelmed, babe.
Does it look like it on the outside?
You don't even come upstairs, man. So it's like, if it's helping for you to work somewhere else, please work somewhere else. If it was just like, I stay with the baby all day and you just be in the city and you pick up E. The only time I have an issue is when you're gone all day and then I have to go into the city and then pick E up.
Yeah.
But that's never, any day that you were gone, you picked E up.
Yeah. I feel like that's unfair.
But I just felt like it just makes sense. And not even unfair. It just makes more sense.
Let's put a pin in the conversation here, because I feel like we could talk about this for 4.5 hours. I'm curious to know what, one, your biggest takeaway from this conversation was, and two, I want to know how you navigated this space, either with your partner, with yourself, with your children, no matter where you are. How do you navigate all of your different obligations and how to still be okay up here? Please write in the comments below. I'm really curious to see what you got to say, but that's going to be it for us today. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of the Sit Down Talk. We plan on picking these back up. Life is a little less crazy. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and make sure that you tap that notification button, that little bell thing, so you can know of all of our posts as soon as they post.
No.
Well said, baby. Hey, we'll catch y'all next time. Y'all be well.